Hello and welcome everybody to the Twins Off Daily podcast brought to you by twinsdaily.com. How the heck are you, Twins territory? We are back at it again for look at this episode 35, the last episode of the off season. We made it. Our national nightmare is over. We made it to opening day. We got 24 hours left, but well, forget it. What could go wrong?
Are we sure that's the end of the nightmare and not the beginning?
What could go wrong? That's a good question, Greg. You heard the voice of Mr. Gregory T. Masterson. Greg, introduce yourself. What's going on?
Hello. I've been working on a voice that I want to be like kind of the screen rant, like the true trailers, whatever. But it always sounds like I'm like reading a political hit piece where it's like I would like. You're listening to the Twins Off Daily podcast. Ooh. But it actually ends up sounding more like I'm like
it's more mean-spirited than man.
Cody Schoenman claims to be a communist, but one time went to work. Do you really want him in Washington? Like,
I don't think so.
I cannot figure out the voice, but hello everybody.
We're getting somewhere good. We're getting somewhere very good with it. Speaking of very good, we have a good guest today. It is Mr. Matt Trueblood, the managing editor of so many baseball sites. Just too many to count, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not very good at counting, and I'm not, so
me neither.
Definitely.
Great. So perfect. You're
That's
in good
why we
company.
write, not math.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But we're happy to have Matt here for this quick little episode that we're doing because guess what? We're turning around and we are giving you another episode in about 48 hours. So we are going to have some fun on this last off-season, off-daily podcast. We're going to start off by asking our walk-off question, which we will try to answer at the end of today's episode. That question today is, which player to make a Twins opening day roster is the most hilarious in your mind? Think about somebody who just squeaked onto the roster, who maybe an afterthought in the offseason, maybe a minor league signing or a guy who's like 50 years old or something. Who is your favorite story of someone actually cracking an opening day roster? There's a lot of good candidates. We're bringing that up today because they announced that Mr. Randy Dobnak is the Twins' 26th man on their roster for tomorrow's game, which I'm going to be honest, I was pretty surprised by, at least if you would have told me, let's say a few weeks ago that would happen, I'd be pretty shocked. Well, first of all, Greg, what were your reactions when you saw that Randy made the team?
I'm so excited. I feel like this team has so many folk heroes that like Mickey Gasper or Deshaun Kersey. Like, I feel like adding Randy Dobnak into this pile of just personalities. And I said this yesterday, I feel like this is the most personality that a Twins team has had in quite a while. I mean, like on a human level, good for Randy. Obviously, nobody's ever said a bad word about him, at least as a person. It's nice that he's getting, a shot to get a little bit of big league action. Who knows how long he's going to actually be on the roster, but good for him. Glad to see him make his way back up, even if it is potentially for a short time.
Well said. Well said. Matt, what do you think? What are some of maybe the reasons why the Twins decided to bring Randy aboard right now?
Well, I think it's subtly important that this is the last guaranteed year of the deal, right? Yeah. You don't want to call him up, potentially have to DFA him again. Maybe he ends up catching on somewhere else and you're still paying him and he's, God forbid, figured something out for another team for another year. Teams really hate that. So it helps that this is the last guaranteed year. They obviously won't be picking up the options on this unless something crazy happens this year, but I doubt it. So that part helps. Probably also helps that they know he'll clear waivers if and when they need to take him back off the roster. Yeah. And it'll be a kind of a no hard feelings thing. He may even elect to go back to St. Paul. You never know. So not a whole lot to lose at this point. I think mostly they were left without a better option, which isn't a great way to end up. But it's usually how the last couple of roster spots get decided at the end of camp.
Right. And I'm sure we'll bring up a few at the end of today's episode. That's for sure. Now that you mentioned it, I just have this scenario stuck in my head where they DFA him mid-season. He actually does catch on somewhere because there's only $1.5 million left on his deal or whatever. And they face him in game 2 of a playoff series, and he just takes them down.
At Yankee Stadium. He gets picked by the Yankees. Can you imagine how mad a certain subset of Twins fans would be after spending like the last 5 years going, why the heck did we give him all this $9 million? This is an albatross contract you can't get rid of. Falvey should be fired. Randy Dobnak catches on somewhere else, and he's just like a mediocre starter. And how come they couldn't develop that? Man, I can't wait. I do want to bring up Dauber actually still has 2 options left. He has been up and down. He spent a lot of time in the minors, but it's like every single time that they've sent him down, they've actually DFA'd him. So he actually, unless they need the 40-man spot specifically, which, for example, if Brock Stewart or Michael Tonkin are healthy and want to come, they're good to come back. They're already on the 40-man roster, so they actually would not need to clear that 40-man space for him. So he actually could just be sent down like a normal player, and it's not necessary to give him the DFA to get him down there.
I'm curious, guys that are in the organization right now, who could be the one to bump him off the 40-man roster? Because they don't have anybody on the 60-day injured list at the moment, I don't think, right? So that they wouldn't be coming off and bumping him off. Is there a prospect or somebody that would potentially bump him off? Does anybody come to mind? I just thought of this right now.
Luke Keishel's not on the 40 yet, is he?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay. That's a good call.
That right away, that jumps out. I'm trying to go through in my head now because the Twins, so many teams have this problem of getting your prospects to the majors on time, but the pipeline has been so smooth for them lately that a lot of times guys are getting up into the high minors, and I can't even remember whether they're on the 40 yet or not, because it's not going to come into play. They're not approaching becoming Rule 5 eligible. They're not running out of options. It's right on schedule. So is Andrew Morris on the 40 yet? I don't know.
He's not, but Morris would be 8th in line, or the 3rd guy in line probably for a rotation spot if needed. Probably. I think he would jump over Travis Adams, who is on the 40-man.
Right.
Keishel is a good one. I mean, I guess like if you're looking for like obvious, I mean, if they need Connor Prelip and they feel really good about him like in the first month and they just say, let's do it, let's put him in the bullpen, that could be a move. I'm not really seeing any more like really obvious picks like that.
Yeah, well, it'll be something to keep an eye on. That's for sure. But for right now, guys, let's actually go over to our big inning topic, and we are actually going to debut the Twins Off Daily 2025 season bingo board. Greg is going to pull it up for our viewing audience on YouTube. So we have 25 items, just like a classic bingo board, with a free space in the middle. I will give that to you right now. The free space is Sweet Lou parody article taken seriously. Free space, because that happens anytime I write something, anytime I write a joke or any sort of a joke article, I get
it. Just happened to Cody. Earlier this week, Cody killed it with his, what did he say? Harrison Bader is leaving the team to perform in Vampire Weekend.
Yeah, go on.
And that got like 40,000 views.
The people were reaching out to Twins Daily staff to ask the earnest question, wait, really?
That's a free space. That is a free space. I do not get it because that was Cody, like we said. Comrade Cody couldn't be with us today, but like you said, Greg, he knocked it out of the park with his just for fun piece there.
He put in enough work for the week writing a single article, and so he couldn't be bothered to show up for his other job.
Yeah, of course. Now that he's rolling in the Benjamins there. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to go one by one with these items. I will read them out, and I will just ask for your thoughts with each of them, whether you think it's feasible, how hilarious these situations would be, any thoughts that come to your mind here. So we'll cruise through this in a solid 20 here. Okay, so item number 1, nothing too outlandish, but Christian Vasquez triple. That could be. What do you think, Greg?
Sure. When's the last time Christian Vasquez has had a triple? I'm going to do some really quick. Too. Matt, go ahead and say something while I look this up, or producer Lenny does.
What I want to say is no one's allowed to root for this. That would be cruel, because Christian Vasquez hitting a triple means there's a poor left fielder writhing in pain on the ground somewhere. That's in the normal course of collecting the baseball. Christian Vasquez is held to a double. Someone has torn an ACL if he's standing on third at the end of a play.
Someone's got like a backwards leg out there in left field along the wall. Okay, well, now that
Christian Vasquez has one triple in the last half decade.
Okay.
He got it on October 2nd in a game against the Washington Nationals as the catcher for the Boston Red Sox in 2021.
Okay.
So that was the same year that he played a little bit of second, a little bit of third. I mean, this was a young, spry Christian Vasquez. What
I'm hearing is he's due. Okay. So
he's due.
What I'm hearing is October 2nd, the Nationals outfielders that day were like, we're jogging this out.
Man. Okay. Well, while we're talking about damage and outfield walls, we're going to go to item number 2, which is Matt Wallner wall damage. I think it was in Tampa Bay last year that he ran into the padding of a wall and just dented it like crazy, because he is a big man with cement bones. What are the odds we see something like that again?
Does it count if he hits a ball that damages the wall?
Yeah, sure. Dents, I think so.
Puts a dent in a metal wall or something like that. The Justin Morneau home run from 2003, I think.
I don't know if I know that one, but I could definitely see a scenario where Matt Wallner hits the outfield wall with a ringing double, and the broadcast flips to it 6 times in a row in the next at bat. So, okay, we're going to say that one's relatively likely. Okay, next up, in the world of Twins Twitter, we have an MV Prelip Twitter suspension. Let's start with you, Greg. What do you think? Odds of this happening?
I'm trying to remember if he's one of them that gets suspended often. He has some takes, and he says some things, but he's probably not the most outlandish of them, because he's trying to keep his nose clean and go to law school or something. Oh, okay. But I got suspended briefly last week for threatening to beat somebody up.
So
that's true. I was defending American hero Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
And I told a man that I could kick his ass, and I got suspended for 5 hours for it. So, you know what? I'll take it.
Free Greg. He did his time, and he's back with us. So
it was my second most liked tweet of all time, and I got suspended for it.
My favorite is when you respond to somebody saying, "You can't dunk. Your point is not valid." That's good.
That's become a little bit too much. I've been saying it too much. I think I need to back off of that one, but it is funny to just bring that one out.
Okay, next item on the list here. This is a gimme. Pablo Lopez wholesome moment. He's just a very enjoyable guy. He's fun to be around. He does a lot of cool stuff. When the Twins had secondhand hounds or some dog shelter come for Bark in the Park Day. Yes, Greg, we know. When they had dogs come to the stadium, he actually ended up adopting one of the dogs, and it's just part of his family now. That's a wholesome moment. I think we're going to see another one. This might be the biggest layup on the board. What do you guys think? What's a wholesome moment that you could see Pablo having this year?
I mean, any number of things. This is a free space as far as I'm concerned. It's happening. He's a wholesome moment machine.
Okay. Greg, I don't know. Are you gritting your teeth just thinking about this?
I hate wholesome moments. I'm going to pretend that they don't happen.
Good. Okay, next up on the list, the last item of the top row, we have Comrade Cody, accidental capitalist. So this means that Cody Schoenman, as we call him, Code Red, he is going to say something that you're thinking, did Cody just say that? Did he just compliment a billionaire? Did he say something about, I don't know. Greg, what do you think?
I feel like Cody's not going to listen to this, and so we need to have some sort of music on hand for when he does accidentally do a capitalism, so that we can play him off, say, hey, we got the top right. So I like this one.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on to the second row here. I'm not going to specify who, but this item is player's wife retweets something controversial. Like I said, we don't have to get into specifics, but the Twins have a group of online wives who like to make online wives who like to make their opinions very clear, very crystal clear, and not everybody always agrees with them, but that's life. What are the odds we see them retweet something super controversial that winds up in our timelines? What do we think, Matt?
6 months is a long time, brother. It has never been a longer time than it is right now. This is happening. Nobody is safe. Greg?
I mean, this is almost as easy as the Pablo Lopez wholesome moment.
Okay, good. Well, it's in a pretty
no names.
Yep, no names. No names.
Will Pablo Lopez's wholesome moment be a really charming, diffusing reply to the retweet of a controversial something from a teammate's wife?
Something to just neutralize all the tension in the air. That would be good. That would be a double whammy. That'd be great. Okay, here's one that could really go either way. We have Greg face reveal.
Who do you think you are?
Is it going to be the year that it happens, Greg?
No, I'm hovering over the face reveal button right now, and I'm not clicking it. Sorry, folks, you're never going to see my face.
Ooh.
Here's my deal. Everybody has their favorite, like whatever people think I look like is the best version of me for them. Like that is the version of me that their brain came up with, and revealing my face kind of ruins it.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I agree. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll see. It could happen inadvertently.
Hold on. Actually, sorry, Matt, I want to respond to that because I remember the first time that we ever spoke. I remember this, Matt. You looked at me and I quote, you said, "You're surprisingly handsome. I'm kind of pissed off."
Yeah, is that the only time you've ever heard that from somebody, Greg?
One time I said something kind of rude online under my actual face, and somebody said, "Hey, I was going to roast you, but then I looked at your profile pic, and you know what? You're kind of handsome, so never mind."
Nice.
And that's been living in my head for like the last 20 years, for the record.
20 years. Goodness. You're on early. Okay, we're going to keep moving on here. We're going to keep crushing along. The next item, take it as you will, brief nudity. We don't know when we're going to see it.
It could happen.
I'm not even saying it is a Twins player or staff person that this happens to. This might be part of the podcast. We don't know.
It might be part of Greg's face reveal.
It might happen before the end of today's episode, before we wrap up here. So, brief nudity. That leads us to the next one, which is hot mic catches profanity. Another pretty easy layup. We've been hearing a lot of those lately. One thing that might contribute to this is if the attendance is not so good at Target Field or wherever the Twins are playing, you hear things crystal clear on the broadcast, especially the radio broadcast. So I think that there's a high likelihood of this happening. What do you guys think?
100%. This is also a layup. It's just a matter of when.
100%. Okay, good. So here is the next one. It is Deshaun Kersey Jr., who, as if you didn't know this, made the Twins opening day roster. Deshaun Kersey Jr. will be involved in a walk-off, whether hitting or scoring the run or making an outfield gaff and the other team scoring a walk-off winner. What do we think about this?
How long is it going to be up?
Yeah. The nerd in me wants to know what the base rate is for this now. I want to think about, a team might be involved one way or the other in an average of 7 or 8 walk-offs a year. And what are the chances that a given guy's involved? Maybe there's a 2 or 3% chance.
Okay. All right. I like those odds. Greg, what do we think? I put this on the board too, because there are some things like this item that it'll be really fun to like root for. Like you'll be waiting for it. You'll be like, oh, here he goes. He's up with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 11th inning, Deshaun Kersey Jr. I think it'd be fun to root for some things like these. What do we think, though?
What if his being involved in the walk-off is actually like, oh gosh, who was it in center field for the Dodgers in 2020 when Phillips or what, Brett Phillips? Like, what if he's involved in the walk-off by like missing the ball in the outfield?
That would be included in this for sure.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. The next two that we have are kind of connected. The first one is Michael Tonkin designated for assignment. So right now he's on the injured list, but he won't be forever, hopefully. What do we think? Likelihood, percent chance? What do you think, Matt? Michael Tonkin DFAed at some point this year.
It seems like an annual ritual. Also, right. Though, I don't know. If he comes back just like as the pitcher he's been the last 2 years, I wouldn't be surprised if he sticks around quite a bit because he can go get you 2 innings in a game and come back the next day if you need him. There aren't that many, but also all winter I was saying that. I was like, he'll wear it. He's the rubber arm.
Yeah.
And then he gets hurt and that totally undercuts everything. So if he comes back and they don't feel like they can rely on him for just that inning sponge, then he's absolutely getting cut at some point.
Could be. And I will go with the next item here and get Greg's reaction. Michael Tonkin reacquired after being designated for assignment or traded or whatever, being removed from the Twins roster. Greg, likelihood of that happening if he is DFA'd?
Respectfully, why the hell not? I don't know. I feel like the jokester in me says it'll probably happen. The realist in me says it probably won't happen just because there are so many different things so many different outcomes to any sort of need, whatever. I don't know. If he does get DFA'd, I would give him a 20% chance of ending up a Twin again at some point later in the year. 20, I think is, listen, 1 out of 5, it probably won't happen, but listen, hear me out.
There we go. Hey, that'd be fun. It's happened before. Why couldn't it happen again? Okay, we are officially halfway. We are at the free space in the middle of the board, which, like I said, is Sweet Lou parody article taken seriously. I look forward to crossing that one off in a matter of days. Animal interrupts game. We've seen it happen before. It could be the bear, that dreaded bear. It could be another squirrel running through somebody's legs.
Okay.
It could be a cat that finds its way onto the field. It could be a swarm of bees. There's so many different options we could take with this. What are the odds that an animal interrupts gameplay in a Minnesota Twins game this year?
Now I think they're relatively good. I had just naturally assumed you meant Animal, the drummer from the Muppets band. And I was like, that's pretty unlikely. I don't know why he's reaching this far.
Okay.
But yeah, you're just talking about any animal.
Yeah.
That could happen a lot of ways. Sure.
Now I'm thinking of a twofer of Animal from the Muppets interrupting the game with brief nudity. Goodness, that could be a double whammy that you brought up. Greg, what do we think? An animal interrupting a Twins game?
I mean, probably like pretty close to 100%. I feel like there is at least one, like at least like if we say like an interruption is a minute, I would say that there's probably going to be an animal that interrupts. I wouldn't put it past that darn bear to cause a ruckus, potentially maybe, I don't know, get arrested for his crimes. And that would probably put a pause on the game. I'm sick of that bear.
A pause on the game, Greg? How dare you?
Pause on the game. Oh man. Okay. Well, somebody who's going to cover that if that happens is at Twins on Twitter. I'll include Blue Sky on this too, because not everybody is on Twitter anymore, and they've gone over to greener pastures and bluer skies. So Twins admin will say subtweeting somebody from Twins Twitter or Twins Blue Sky. Maybe it's Shayla, maybe it's Greg, maybe it's any one of us. What are the odds that Twins Twitter will say something super sassy in a sub tweet or a sub post?
I'm actually not that familiar with the work of Cassie. Is that her name?
Yep.
I actually don't know much about like the behavior of the Twins official account. I feel like this is something I should know more of.
Maybe subtweet, maybe that suggests that like they're saying something nasty or salty or something, but they're usually pretty kind-hearted for sure, or easygoing.
Earnest and fun is more their lane, but
totally. But how about a post like that references somebody subtly, I guess you could say. Okay, we're going to keep moving on to the fourth row here. Let's see. There's a certain segment that we've been doing on the Twins Off Daily podcast about a certain pitcher.
The quick game we like to call Is Chris Paddack Still a Twin? And as of March 25th, 2025, after slinging 97 today in his last spring training outing, Chris Paddack is still a Twin. Yes. Back to you, Lou.
Yes, he is. Okay, so this item is, will that segment be retired in season? So that means that Chris Paddack would no longer be a Twin. Is that going to happen at some point this season? Or let's be honest, the season hasn't started. Maybe it still happens before the season starts.
This is pretty dark. You've got him murdering his own twin, or it's a fatal disease, or you mean like he plays for the Minnesota Twins?
Yes.
Okay. Because if he was an actual twin, that would be handy. I don't like Chris Paddack very much as like a pitcher in your rotation. I think the Twins should have moved on a while ago. But if he were a twin, then you could do like a prestige thing, no spoilers, and have his twin pitch and double the amount of time you could have Chris Paddack in the game. That'd be fantastic.
Sidebar real quick. The Prestige, Christopher Nolan's best movie. Don't at me. Wow. Okay, keep going.
A little Ozzie Canseco, Jose Canseco business going on where maybe Chris Paddack's twin is pitching for both of them.
Maybe Chris Paddack's twin has like a decent slider. Who knows?
Hey, I respect Chris Paddack's curveball. I don't know, man.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like Chris Paddack is at this point either going to be a twin for the rest of the season or be an injured twin for the rest of the season.
I don't think he'll be moved to another organization.
Got it. Okay. Well, we shall see, I guess. Next item. Should the Twins sign Miguel Sano? ? So the point of this one is the Twins' options at first base become so just depressing that somebody, I'm not going to say who, suggests the Twins should look into signing Miguel Sano to play first base.
I now want to just go through comment sections and replies. I want to set up an API that tells me any time that somebody mentions Miguel Sano, and I'm going to read every single comment and reply anywhere about Miguel Sano to see if somebody in the wild earnestly brings up, well, has anybody checked in with Miguel Sano? Oh man, I'm excited for this.
There we go.
We probably aren't that far from it already. Royce Lewis getting hurt and Brooks Lee not being ready to start the season is enough that we're one more bad thing from the showing up somewhere.
What I'm hearing though is should the Twins sign Miguel Sano to play third base? Now we're talking. Now we're really cooking. Okay, next
right field.
Or right field. Don't sell them short. Next item we have here is that the 9x9x9 challenge will be mentioned on the broadcast. This also is a layup. I feel like they're going to say something about it by the end of this sentence. I don't know. It's a pretty easy talker, and I think that we're going to see it pretty early on. What do you guys think? Are you sick of the 9x9x9 discourse? I'm not personally, but I could see how somebody could get there.
I'll be sick of it when I actually do it. It's on my list of things to do. My question is, who is going to be the color guy when they talk about this? Because I feel like that discussion can be very entertaining or very boring, depending on whether it's Justin or LaTroy or Perk or Plouffe. That conversation could be an all-timer. It could be just kind of a nothing burger. I'm curious who's going to bring it up.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, speaking of color commentary, the next item here is Dan Gladden mispronounces a player name multiple times in an outing.
another free space.
I'm just gonna go ahead and mark it right now.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go ahead and put the red X on that one.
On the Twins too.
Yep.
It's going to be an actual twin, not a name he had to learn this morning.
My
favorite
guy.
I mean, it's someone who's been here for 5 years and suddenly he doesn't know how to say it. Yeah.
The best part is when there are producers in his ear that are surely like, oh, real quick, it's pronounced. It's, you know what I mean? Like giving him a quick little correction. No, he just rebuffs it. Boy, if the Twins played the Braves, I cannot wait for them to play Ronald Acuna. Cannot wait for that. So next item on the board here, Audra Martin post-game Gatorade shower casualty. We'll see how many walk-offs they have, but as the sideline reporter, they often get the blowback of these the Gatorade shower, and she always takes it like a champ, and she never complains about it publicly, at least. What are the odds that she becomes a Gatorade shower casualty this year?
Really good.
0. The Twins aren't winning.
Ooh, no wins.
It doesn't even take a walk-off sometimes. A guy has a 2 or 3 homer game or strikes out 11. They might get the Gatorade bath even though, there was no party when the game ended. So there are going to be 10 or 12 of those if the team is gelling the way they seem to be. And she's going to get hit by one of them somewhere.
Got to think. Okay, the last row here in the corner, we have Joe Polad media gaffe. He says something boneheaded. I don't want to talk too much about the ownership situation on today's episode, but some of the recent updates make it seem like this could be more and more likely as the season goes on here, that he is still a prominent figure in the media or in front of the media here. What are the odds? Joe Polad, another media gaffe.
Is this from today on, or does, things that maybe were published yesterday count?
We're saying today on, actually.
Okay. Well, I've just remembered that I wanted to open the show by saying that the show is for sale. However, part of the conditions of selling the show to the highest bidder is that I continue to co-host the podcast.
Okay.
I would just like to put that out there for anybody who would be interested in perhaps buying the show from us. I'm open to it. I would just still need to be on it.
Okay. All right. Good. And we will not sell it for anything less than $1.7 billion. So send your offers.
$1.7.
Very competitive.
That's more. It's more money that we made.
Very competitive. Very competitive. Okay. Next item. We have Louis/Sweet Lou Varland starts an MLB game. Do we think that's happening this year? Because, they were very non-committal, so to speak, going into spring training. Now it's very clear that he is probably strictly a reliever for the foreseeable future. Or is he? What do we think?
The loophole here is openers, right? I don't think he's going back to the rotation ever. Do I think he will start as an opener or at the front end of a bullpen game? Yes, I do. I think that somewhere in there.
Loophole.
Yeah.
Okay. Greg, what do you think?
I don't know. I would take the under on 0.5.
Okay. All right. Next item we have, in quotations, I am out on Carlos Correa. That means that somebody will be calling for the Twins to release or just shoot to the moon their star shortstop, Carlos Correa, if he has some sort of slow start or prolonged slump. What do we think?
I feel like there are already people who are ringing that bell right now because he had a 150 batting average in spring training. I think people are already ringing the I am out on Carlos Correa bell.
Okay. This one's a little more intriguing to me. Luke Keeschel, first baseman. Matt, what do you think? What are the odds that Luke Keeschel comes up and plays, let's say, multiple games as a starting first baseman?
I still don't think they're great. I think they'll be kind of patient with him, and when he comes up, it'll probably be to play second, and they'd rather shift Gasper or Julian or Miranda. He's not even the third option in their minds for first base right now.
Okay. Very unlikely. Greg, any thoughts on that?
I don't know. I feel like it. Does it count if there's one appearance at first base?
You know what? Just based on how unlikely Matt made it seem, I'll say yeah. Just even appearing as a first baseman.
I'm sure it's going to happen.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Was it nice kicking right through those goalposts that Lou moved closer for you there, Greg?
Yes, it was great.
Yep.
I really appreciate it.
Yep,
Yeah.
there we go. Okay, and the last item we have on this board is something I will certainly be rooting for. Royce Lewis redemption. Let's be honest, right now the optics on Royce from the fan base might be low, whether that's warranted or not, after underperforming in the second half and starting the year off hurt. Obviously, being hurt is not necessarily his fault, but you know, the vibes around Royce Lewis from a vocal contingent of the fan base probably low, and honestly for his career probably the lowest they've been. He's dominated, you know, as a prospect. When he came up, he was, you know, super stellar. They missed him dearly when he was hurt, but now we have hacks on Twins Daily saying the Twins need to decentralize Royce Lewis from their plans. I couldn't believe it. No, that was a well-written article. A very sound logic there too. But what do we think about Royce Lewis redemption arc in 2025?
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
It's over for him. It's over.
Oh, it's over. Retire.
He's a human roller coaster. There will be a high point. The only question is, will Trevor Plouffe be calling the game? Because if he is, there will literally be that moment where he says, "Today we spell redemption ROYCE."
That will be an absolute
put 2 check marks in that box for me if that happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You get extra points for sure. Okay, well, that is our Twins Off Daily 2025 season bingo. When something comes up, I'm sure you all will hear about it online. We'll make sure to post about it. And then we will show an updated bingo board as things get crossed off. If you'd like a bingo board of your own with all these kind of mixed up, I can scramble them. Please let us know. Shoot me a message, comment on the post here or on our podcast, and I will make sure to get one of these your way so you can play alongside us. But for right now, we're going to wrap up our show with an edition of The Closer. Hey, we are going to play a round of Calling It. This is our this is the Twins Off Daily's bold predictions segment, where each member here, we have come to the table.
Into the mic, Lou.
I'm sorry. This is the the bold prediction segment that we do here on the Twins Off Daily podcast that we will track throughout the season. Each of us have come to the table with 3 items or 3 bold predictions that we are going to put on the board. Let's start with Greg. What is your first bold prediction for this year?
Bailey Ober is going to lead the Twins pitchers in wins above replacement.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. Matt, what do you think?
Matt Wallner is going to hit 40 dongs.
Oh, 40. Okay. 40 home runs. Wow. That would be fun. Both of those would be fun. Wow. My first is a little more outlandish. I have Zebby Matthews receives at least 1 Cy Young vote. He's not even in the big league rotation at this point.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. Could happen. Pretty crazy.
Pretty wild. Wow.
You crazy for this one,
man. Thing I just said.
Why did you say it like that? I'm sorry.
Greg, let's keep moving. Let's go to your second prediction, my man.
Ty France All-Star.
With the Twins?
Yes.
Okay, good.
In 2025.
Okay, good. That would be cool. Remember when they were like trying to decide, Luis Arias might be pinched off of the AL All-Star because of Ty France over there in Seattle at first base. Man, how the tables turn. Matt, what's your second prediction here?
The leader in games played at third base for the Twins this year will be Carlos Correa.
Whoa! Carlos Correa. What's the rationale behind that?
I mean, he is reaching an age at, what is he, 30 this year?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Last year, there were 0 shortstops who were at least 31 years old and played at least 100 games at the position.
Wow.
It is rapidly becoming a very young man's spot. Carlos Correa is rapidly becoming not a young man, especially from the knees down. And I think Lewis is going to keep getting hurt because that's what that guy does. I think Brooks Lee will get healthy enough that eventually they're going to end up going the best formulation, the best defensive alignment for our present and future is just to get Carlos over to third where there's a little less extreme movement demanded of him. He might stay in the lineup better. The defense is probably going to be better with him at third and Lewis at short than the other way around. And this is how we live from now on.
Okay. All right. That is a very fun one. Something to watch for sure. My second prediction, the Twins will have 2 players that will finish the year with double-digit caught stealing. Willie Castro had 9 last year, I believe. I think that he could be a prime candidate to be another one. And I think they're going to have another player, I'm not going to say who has at least 10 caught stealing attempts.
I love you putting out the idea of, you know who I think is going to get caught a lot? You know who I think is going to fail a ton out on the bases? That schmuck Willie Castro thinks he's fast. He's not. I've seen a savant slider.
Hey, he could, you know what? Under this prediction, he could still swipe 100 bases if he wants, but he's going to get caught 10 times at least, I think.
I would love to see a version of the Rocco Baldelli Minnesota Twins that runs enough for 2 people to get caught 10 times.
You know what? It would be a big zag. That's for sure. Greg, what do you got for your last prediction here?
8 different players will play second base for the Twins this year.
Ooh, 8. Any idea how many they had last year?
6.
6. Okay. All right.
Julian Farmer, Castro, Martin, Lee, and Lewis all played second base last year.
Okay. Add Christian Vasquez to the mix for this year. Okay, cool. That'll be a fun one. Matt, your final prediction.
You guys were like, oh, he's what, 8th, 9th in line. Andrew Morris is going to start at least 15 games for this team.
Okay.
And he's going to have an ERA under 3.6.
3.6. Okay, that's a very good year. That's a strong year for sure. I loved what I saw from him in his one televised start that they got on in spring training. He was fun to watch.
There's good stuff there, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm rooting for a lot of years actually, so this will be good. My last prediction: John Bonus will do another 9x9x9 challenge. Never cross those lines again. I think he, like moth to a flame, he will be drawn to another 9x9x9 challenge. 9 hot dogs, 9 beers in 9 innings. He's going to do it again. Okay, well, there we are. We will add these 9 predictions to our list that we started with Cody and Nick aboard last time. But before we say goodbye, let's talk about the walk-off question that we asked at the beginning of the episode, and that was which random Twin to make an opening day roster was your favorite. I'm going to start. Back in 2014, the Twins brought 2 #old friends back aboard, and both of them landed on the Twins opening day roster. That was Jason Kubel and Jason Bartlett. That was a exciting, 4 days before they got DFAed or something. So I will go with those 2. Actually, I was studying abroad in South Africa when this was happening, the first couple months of the 2014 season. And I would specifically run to the nearest McDonald's to check on the stats of the Twins as they were going. I was like, Bartlett, Kubel, you guys are still kicking. Way to go. So I will pick those 2. What do you think, Greg?
So my name, actually, I do want to give a shout out to 2014 Jason Kubel, who did start the Twins curse at the number 13.
13. Yes.
It's been a mess ever since then. Okay, my pick is going to be Aaron Whitefield, center fielder on the 2020 Twins opening day roster. Now, this one's a little bit of a cheat because what was the roster limit? The roster limit at the beginning of the 2020 season, I believe, was 30.
30.
And so, at this point, that would be, I don't know, if they were to bring up 2 more position players, it would be like Austin Martin and Yair Camargo, I would say, as a third catcher would probably be the move. Basically, they wanted Aaron Whitefield, who claimed to be the fastest dude in the organization, claimed to be faster than Byron Buxton. They put him on the roster as just some depth. He got into 2 games as a pinch runner. He never started. He did get 1 plate appearance. And I don't believe has been in the major. No, he did have another stint in 2022 where he played 5 games in Los Angeles. So Aaron Whitefield, shout out to you, my man, having the, I don't know, it was almost just like I don't know who else to put on the roster. So shout out that guy.
Fastest player in the organization, so fast that he was off the roster before you could finish saying his name. Matt, what do you think? Favorite?
I can. Whitefield's so good. I feel lousy following that up. However, 2020 also didn't happen and doesn't count. So, you know, I'm going to go with one who was actually an opening day starter back in 2008. And I don't know, I'm exactly the right age where part of my falling in love with baseball was playing a whole lot of Triple Play 2000 for the PS1.
Yep.
And in Triple Play 2000, there were some really weird batting stances where they were trying to capture what a guy was doing, but it made them look impossible. They'd be like bent 90 degrees forward at the waist, and you're like, no one could hit that way.
Or they'd be standing. MVP Baseball had the crouched stance that is physically impossible to get into as well. I think like through 2005, they never fixed that.
And there was one too where a guy would have his foot like way out on the far edge of the batter's box and just staring down the pitcher. And you're like, no one could hit that way. And one of the guys who was set up that way was Tony Batista.
Tony Batista, yes.
But what I loved was once I actually saw Tony Batista, because I met video game Tony Batista long before I met, or at least shortly before I met real life Tony Batista. When I actually saw him hit, I was like, oh, they didn't make it weird enough.
No, he was weird. He was weird for sure. That is a good pull.
And he'd been out of baseball in 2000. It wasn't 2008. It was 2006. He was
right.
Because in 2005 he'd been out of ball altogether. Looked like that was the end of a really good career, and it didn't go especially well for him with the Twins. But that is my choice. He was fun.
You bringing up Tony Batista unlocked like 5 other names that we could throw on here, but we could have a whole other episode for that. Greg, sorry, I interrupted.
I was just gonna say to steal from my good friend Nat Gaetti on Twitter. Tony Batista, not enough people talk about it. He actually had a really solid career.
Oh yeah.
One of the weirdest careers that you'll ever, like, he put up some very strange stat lines, including like his 110 RBI season in Montreal that was a negative wins above replacement in 2004. He hit 32 homers, drove in 110 runs, batted .240, had an OPS plus of 81, and was worth negative 0.1 wins above replacement.
That is wild. That is so wild. Oh man. Okay, great blast from the past. This was a ton of fun. Let us know if we missed anybody. Feel free to respond to us online. Leave us a comment. Let us know if we forgot some other super fun random players to make the Twins opening day roster. We got to get going. Greg has to get to his basketball game where he's going to dunk on some account managers or something. What do you say, Greg?
Meet me at the rim.
Yeah, meet you at the rim. All right. Well, we want to say thank you to Matt Trueblood. We hope to have him back on sometime soon, and we can keep track of our Twins off daily bingo board. But I'm Sweet Lou Hennessy on behalf of our friends here. Thank you very much, and stay sweet, everybody.